Hey folks, welcome back to our channel. Today we're diving deep into the darkest corners of incarceration, exploring the rules that make living in the world's most dangerous prisons more mind-bending than a Rubik's Cube on steroids. Strap in, because we're about to embark on a roller coaster of chaos and questionable life choices. La Santé prison in Paris. Despite its fancy name, it's no spa retreat. Imagine living in a place where the French word for health is part of the name, but the actual health conditions would make your grandma gasp. I mean, come on, showers twice a week? That's not a spa day. That's a water rationing scheme. The facility has faced criticism for issues such as violence among inmates, lack of proper health care, and inadequate infrastructure. Since 1867, the prison has had records of riots, executions, and escapes. The prison doctor, Véronique Vasseur, highlighted health problems among inmates caused by cramped cells. But hold up, La Santé isn't just about questionable hygiene. Remember Michael Vaujour's grand escape in a freaking helicopter? This sole prison has a history of recording one of the most daring escapes of all time. In 1986, Michael Vaujour was helped by his wife Nadine, swooping into the courtyard to snatch him up in a helicopter she was piloting to save him from the hellhole. The whole population of Paris ended up applauding for the situational historical segment, and people even made 2 movies about the escape. But not everyone gets to see people portraying themselves in the movies. Now let's cross the Atlantic to San Quentin, California's oldest prison. It's got a death row bigger than my student loan debt, and the rules there are as strict as a cat video editor's timeline. But hey, if Charles Mason and Sirhan could navigate it, maybe they deserve a LinkedIn endorsement for prison survival skills. They were held up in the San Quentin, which is considered California's oldest prison since 1852 and is infamous in the United States, with over 400 executions since 1893. San Quentin is a tough, maximum security prison known for its strict rules. It's had problems with violence and too many people packed in. Imagine the violence and strict rules that are maintained in the San Quentin prison. If they are able to restrict criminals in such a range, you will be bewildered. The prison is also notable for being extremely old, outdated, and dirty, with prisoners receiving poor health care. Alcatraz, the OG of tough places. It closed in '63, but the tales of Alcatraz linger on. Imagine being locked up with Al Capone and the Birdman of Alcatraz. It's like a twisted episode of Survivor. Don't drop the soap. Notorious names like Al Capone, Mickey Cohen, Machine Gun Kelly, and the Birdman of Alcatraz, Robert Stroud, were among its inmates. Just to clear up something, we are not talking about the Machine Gun Kelly you might know right now in this generation. The main one wasn't a singer. Jokes apart, in 1946, 6 inmates tried to escape from Alcatraz in a really violent way, known as the Battle of Alcatraz. They grabbed weapons and keys after overpowering guards. When they faced a locked door, they fought with the guards, leading to a big gun battle. The Marines had to step in with grenades and rifles to restore order. 3 escapees and 2 guards died, and many guards got hurt. There is always something special about the United States and its prisons. If you guys remember Ramzi Youssef, who was engaged in the bombing of the 1993 World Trade Center, or maybe Ted Kaczynski, who is considered the Unabomber, along with Zacarias Moussaoui, the most infamous for his 9/11 conspiracy, imagine yourself in their place, along with the things they have done, and the facilities they were provided with inside the prison, as they are simply not the best. Now let's talk ADX Florence. This place is like the Fort Knox of prisons. Limited contact, restricted communication, and harsh punishments. Breaking the rules here might lead to consequences so severe you'd wish you were back in math class. Inmates harming themselves with razors, chicken bones, and playing hide and seek with their own sanity. Suicide attempts are as common as bad prison food. ADX is like the dark web of incarceration. You know it's there, but you don't want to explore it. The way the corrections staff handle the situation is unbelievable, and despite the strict rules in the prison, they have certainly been made for the kind of people living there, and there is no way to ignore it at all. Time to hop down to Venezuela, where La Sabaneta prison makes Alcatraz look like overcrowding, lack of staff, and serious decay. It's like the vacation in hell package deal. The 1994 incident at Sabaneta prison in Maracaibo, Venezuela, was a tragic riot and fire that led to the deaths of 108 inmates. Riots in prisons can escalate rapidly, and in this case, it resulted in a devastating devastating loss of lives due to the fire and the chaos within the facility. Now, let's talk Russia. Black Dolphin, where no one escapes alive. It's like a real-life game of escape room, but the consequences are a tad more permanent. Guards every 15 minutes, blindfolded walks. It's like a twisted dance party. When inmates move around, they're required to walk bent over, which is a tactic unique to this prison. It's meant to control them and prevent escape or attacks by limiting their view. Additionally, when outside their cells, they're blindfolded to keep them from learning the prison layout, adding an extra layer of security. Now let's get to the good stuff. The unspoken rules inside these steel jungles. Rule number 1, mind your own business. Unless you want a one-way ticket to Confrontation Central, stay out of other people's business. In prison, it's better to ask before moving in with someone. When you arrive, you're assigned a bunk. But if you want to switch, ask the person already there. If a bunk is empty, check with others in the room before moving in. Someone might have plans for it, and moving in without asking can cause issues. Some inmates will only sleep on a top bunk because it is harder for someone to jump or assault them. In each floor's mop closet, there are specific brooms and mops designated for bathroom use to prevent contamination. Using the wrong ones might lead to an embarrassing situation, so it's best to use the right tools for the right areas to avoid issues. The TV room drama, claiming spots, changing channels. It's like a prison version of Game of Thrones. Patience, my friends, patience. You don't want to be the one causing a riot over a missed episode of Oz. Money talks in prison, and if you can't handle your finances, you might end up doing interpretive dance for your debts. It's like a twisted Broadway show where the currency is respect and overdraft means a beatdown. Personal space, folks. Knock before entering. It's not just a polite suggestion. It's a survival strategy. If the window's covered, don't be the nosy neighbor. Someone might be having a moment or dealing with a situation that's none of your business. Stick to your race. The penitentiaries and mediums are highly segregated, and everybody is divided into groups or gangs. Your race and home state determine which group or gang you belong to. Crips, Bloods, Southsiders, Latin Kings, Dirty White Boys, etc. ADX. Florence has its own rule book, and it's thicker than a Harry Potter novel. Limited contact, restricted communication. It's like being in an isolation chamber, but with less meditation and more existential dread. No naps. You can't defend yourself while you are sleeping. You might ask yourself, why are people attacking you? Everybody is affiliated with a group or gang at higher level institutions, and just because you didn't do something to piss off another gang doesn't mean one of your homeboys didn't. And let's not forget the global prison humor, fighting with steel toes on, because nothing says, I'm ready for a friendly chat, like footwear with an attitude. So there you have it, folks. The wild, wacky, and downright bizarre rules inside the most notorious prisons in the world. Remember, life is a journey, but surviving prison is a whole different kind of adventure. Stay safe, stay sane, and avoid helicopter rides if you can. Until next time, keep it real and keep those prison dreams locked away.